Here's a short embodied awareness guided meditation. So sit comfortably. You can do this eyes opened or closed. Closed might be nice, but either way. Sit comfortably. If you're on a cushion and you just want to get your spine straight, shoulders dropped, arms relaxed at your side. If you're sitting in a chair, same thing. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor. So you just want to get a nice grounded posture. Get the frame so it's strong and straight. That'll enable you to relax more deeply. So once you feel like you've kind of got things lined up, just yield to gravity. So feel that gentle pull. That helps illuminate where it is we're resisting. So just kind of scan through the body. Notice maybe you're holding in the thighs or gripping in the stomach, the jaw. Check the shoulders, let those drop a little bit. And monitoring that the relaxation is just kind of ongoing. So through the entire meditation you can always refer back and notice if you're clenching somewhere. The more relaxed, less resistance. As Adyashanti says, like the whole project is basically letting go of resistance to life as it is. And then we'll use the breath. So we're going to start with just basic kind of breath mindfulness. So noticing the breath coming in through the nose. Follow it as it drops down into the belly. Follow it back up and out. So we'll just take a couple of breaths that way. Notice the slightly cool sensation as the breath comes in through the nose. Following the breath down, like watching the tide come in, the ocean shore, and then the tide comes in, rolls back out. So same with the breath. Breath in, slight pause. Of its own accord, the breath comes back out. Continue yielding to gravity while maintaining an upright posture. And then we're going to do just a simple shift. So, tracking the breath this way, you can notice the feeling of watching the breath, but it's watching from the mind. So it's kind of like a, mindful observer, which still seems somewhat located in the mind, so it feels like there's a me, and the me is in my head. So just noticing that feeling. As we take a couple more breaths. So from the point of view of attention, which is really the stance of just kind of basic mindfulness practices. It's observing with attention, sometimes really acute attention, really small, focused, developing that discipline, which calms the body, calms the mind a little bit. But it's still stuck in this kind of limited mind, separate self perspective. So now we're just going to decentralize, or as Locke Kelly says, unhook or unblend awareness from thinking. So let's just move. Well, first we'll stay with the breath coming in through the nose, but now just notice the sensation, the point of sensation when the breath comes in through the nose. Slightly cool. Notice that the nose itself is the awareness. You don't need to think about that sensation. You don't even need to look from the mind. It's just sensation. So you can let go of tracking the breath and just stay aware of the sensation for a moment. Then we're going to let this kind of local focus of awareness drop down even further. So let it drop down to the throat, the inside of the throat. And know the throat from the throat. So you don't need to, in fact, you can't think about it. The mind will want to, but don't overthink it. Just relax. Just all you got to do is reflect and notice that when you have a sore throat, for example, you don't know that you have a sore throat because you think it. You know because the throat knows. Awareness knows. And then that information, because we're typically living in our mind, that information becomes a story, and then all kinds of things can unfold from that. But we don't need to think about the throat to know the throat. And in fact, we can't actually know the throat by thinking about it. We can only know a story of the throat. So let yourself just be aware of the throat from inside the throat. And it's just a slight shift. Locke uses this method. It's really a good kind of incremental step, because it's not very far. We're still kind of up in the head. It's not very far, so the brain isn't freaking out too much. But you can feel it just a little bit, that there's a freedom from this kind of being tethered to thought. And now use the term letting awareness drop down, but awareness is already there actually, of course. And let awareness drop down, this local awareness, and drop down into the chest and belly. And know the chest and belly from inside the chest and belly, without having to reach down, without having to think about it, without having to refer back, without having to use a memory or analyze or understand. Just simply know chest and belly, from the chest and belly. And you might notice a sense of expansiveness or the energy field of the body, so a more intense, more intimate relationship with the energy field of the body. And notice that being aware from the body this way, unless you go back up into the mind for an image of the body now becomes more like an area, like a neighborhood, rather than a house. And in fact, you can open that awareness up so you're aware of the entire body at the same time, which the mind can't do. The mind needs to kind of search in small increments, one spot at a time. It can't grasp things that have no limit. And when we move into this kind of awareness of the body, spacious awareness of the body, we're moving towards limitless objectlessness experience. So notice that being aware of the body from the body lends itself to really merging with that which is around the body. There's no barriers. You can feel that awareness is alive outside the body and inside the body equally. In fact, doesn't really recognize those as boundaries. And let yourself rest back even further, so that rather than being projecting awareness from awareness, drop down and just be aware in awareness. Be the awareness itself. At first, it'll feel odd. The mind will resist. It has lots of ways, trying to distract us or create doubt, persuade. So just notice that energy. If you just notice it as energy rather than taking the bait, you can just rest as awareness. And you can move throughout your day that way. May you be happy, healthy, and loved.